Hey, Rhonda here. Uh, I'm an entrepreneur, life coach, influencer, and a licensed psychotherapist. Today I want to talk to you about love, mainly in romantic relationships. I have some pet peeves about this topic. If, like me, I'm a woman, I like to watch Hallmark, and all the ooey gooey, and, they always end up the same, and they fall in love, and they didn't know they were in love, or they, even in the John Wayne movies, John Wayne would ride in, and whoever, the town woman that was single, they wouldn't get along, and they would fight, and there would be this, and then they would fall in love. Love's not necessarily like that. The movies, we can get a false sense of love about it's supposed to be romantic and ooey gooey and all these feelings, and what you're describing when you talk about that is the first phase of a romantic love. It's the attraction. It's called the romance phase. And it happens in the first of every romantic relationship that you get into. It can last up to 2 years. I call this the lust phase. It's, the attraction and you want to be together all the time, and, and then you have to move into the next phase. A lot of people get stuck that this is what love is supposed to be. It's like, well, I was in love, but now I'm not. Well, love is a choice. In love is that romantic phase of a romantic relationship. Some people get addicted to this, and they go from relationship to relationship seeking that romantic phase. And when it wears off, which it always does, then you move into the next phase, which is the reality phase. Reality sinks in, and oh my God, what am I doing here? Who is this person? They weren't who I thought they were. I don't have that same feeling, and so from there you move into the power struggle phase. This is where you try to change your partner. There's things about them I don't like, and I'm going to change them. And it's war. There's a lot of conflict and a lot of struggle in this phase, this power phase of back and forth and back and forth. And then you might move back into that romantic phase. And then again, you're in the power phase. And it's this and that's, most relationships don't make it through this. And then, I know that statistically, first marriages, 50% of them end in divorce because they don't make it through this part. And if they're second, third, so on marriages, the percentage rate of divorce is even higher than that. People don't stick it out until they move into the acceptance phase, to where they accept that other person. We all have faults and we all have strengths. And I know that my experience is the very thing I was attracted to him about is the very thing that got on my nerves in that struggle phase. It get on my nerves. And I have to remember, why did I fall in love with this person in the first place? And focus on myself and what I'm bringing to the relationship. Then from the acceptance phase, you move into the commitment phase. You make it here, and most couples make it. They can make it here. And then they go from that to the co-creation phase. And this is a lot of times where, by this time you decide to get married, if you hadn't, after 2 weeks in the romantic phase. If you've managed to not marry this person, that you wake up one day in the reality phase and think, oh my God, it's the oh my God phase. It's but love is an action, and it takes the action. It's about what I do. I'm 50% responsible for this romantic relationship, and I'm 100% responsible for 50% of it. Somebody else is responsible for that other part. A lot of people struggle because they never make it through the conflict stage. That power struggle. Sometimes that power struggle comes back. Maybe later in marriages, on the 20-year mark, and it's like the one partner wants to, have a little more power, and they start to struggle again, and the conflict. Relationships, romantic relationships, move in and out of phases, and this is an addictive relationship where you're enmeshed. You're just all into each other. You just got to be all up in each other's business and everything. I call this phase or this relationship 2 ticks and no dog, because they suck the life out of each other. And then you've also got the other, this is codependent. You got this relationship, and you're both got your lives separate. This one does what they want to do, and this one does what they want to do, but you can't not live without each other. It's like roommates. And relationships are fluid. They need to stay, and they go, there's a you, and there's a me, and there's an us. I had to learn about relationships. I was codependent, and that insecurity and low self-esteem drove me to think that other person was to make me whole. That's another one of my pet peeves, that you complete me. I don't need anyone else to complete me today. I did at one time, and if I'm half a person, and I'm going to attract another half a person, because I attract what I am. And relationships and love is like multiplication. You take a 1/2 and a 1/2 and you multiply them, and what you got is a 4th, because they're 2 ticks and no dog, sucking the life out of each other. So you have to be a whole person to bring that to the table in a relationship. That person that's whole will attract another whole person. And 1 multiplied is 1. And that's how relationships work. If there's problems in relationships, I have to focus on what I need to change to make it better. And the other person focuses on what they need to change to make it better. And the relationship will get better, and that's how it's healed. It's what counseling works. A couple goes to counseling, a mediator can look at things. I can tell my husband something. Does he listen? No. But, his friend can tell him the same thing, and he'll come home and tell me, "Oh, Joe told me today, la 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 la." I'm like, "I've been telling you that for years." It can be frustrating. Relationships are not easy, and since this is an area where I struggled, it's not easy. Relationships aren't easy. I think over time, you move through these phases, and you get into where you're not expecting that other person to complete you, that you're not thinking that it's going to be a feeling. To me, love is the action. Love is struggling through the bills, loss of a job, children that don't act right. I had some of those. Nobody acted right. So, and a lot of it was my expectations and not the other person. So today, the most important relationship I can have is with myself. I have to learn to love myself. And I went through a stage in my life to where that's what I did. I had to learn how to be single. I had to learn how to, if I wanted flowers, I could call up the florist and order them for myself and put "Love Rhonda" on the card and send it to myself. Whatever my needs were, then I had to learn how to meet those needs instead of expecting someone else to be the answer to all of my stuff. And emotionally, I sucked the life out of a relationship. It was just never enough because I didn't love myself enough. And when I learned to love myself, then I could actually bring a whole person to the table and have a healthy relationship with another person. And those, that had a healthy relationship. And that today, love is struggling through those things. Love is a commitment with a partner that I can walk through life with, that I want to be with. I don't need him. I want him in my life. And that makes it different. Because that other they were going to leave me. If I loved them, they would leave me. And so I suffocated the life out of the other person. And it just was so unhealthy, so addictive, and conflict. So many things that I brought to the table. Today I can allow that other person to be who they are. And if you want to get into other relationships, friendships, work relationships, I spent more time with the people I worked with than I did, with my friends and my family and my husband. And those relationships become real important. And, it's the same type of thing. I know that I was attracted to those people that needed to be fixed and they had potential. They always had potential until the reality stage, kicked in, and it was, OMG, who is this person? I'm already involved with this person and I don't know who they are. That's not what I expected. But today I try not to put those expectations in relationships. I try to be a friend. I try to be a wife, a mother, a worker among workers, and to be the best Rhonda I can be. And if I love myself, I can do that, And I think back, I was raised in the Baptist religion, and I think about the Bible says, love thyself as thy neighbor, and that's the important part. I have to love myself. That's the most important romantic love relationship that I can have. And if someone is going to abuse me or treat me bad, I love myself more than to allow that to happen. Just remember to be you on purpose.